The Resilience Across Borders podcast is intended for education, support, and inspiration. I am not a psychologist or a medical doctor and do not offer any professional, medical, or health advice. If you are dealing with or suffering from any psychological or medical conditions, please seek help from a qualified health professional. Hello and welcome back to Resilience Across Borders podcast. I'm your host, Rachid, and in today's episode, we will talk about the importance of self-awareness and how to cultivate it in a positive way or cultivate it positively. So self-awareness is the foundation of personal growth, emotional intelligence, and of strong relationships. It allows us to understand our thoughts, understand our emotions and actions, and recognize how they affect ourselves and others. So the more aware we are, the better we can manage our behaviors, respond to challenges, and align our life choices with our true values. That's the ultimate alignment. So, however, there is a fine line between being self-aware and becoming negatively self-conscious. So it's essential to foster self-awareness in a healthy way that leads to growth rather than falling into the trap of overcriticism or doubt. So why does self-awareness matter? So self-awareness leads to better emotional regulation. It leads to improved decision making, and it leads to enhanced relationship with others and greater empathy and compassion. So being self-aware allows us to identify our strengths and weaknesses without judgment, and then to focus on areas that need improvement. It's about growth rather than perfection. So now, how do we assess or test if we have good self-awareness? There are several ways to test your current level of self-awareness and to deepen your understanding of yourself. One is to keep a daily journal. One of the simplest ways to test and improve self-awareness is through journaling. You write down your thoughts, you write down your emotions, and your reactions throughout the day. So by then reflecting on your day's experiences, you start to see patterns in your behaviors and in your thoughts. So an example, at the end of the day, ask yourself, what emotions did I feel today and why? And then from there go to how did I respond to challenges or unexpected events? Or what sparked those emotions that I felt the most today, right? And then ask yourself, did you, or say to yourself, did I act in alignment with my values and my beliefs? In other words, am I proud of my reactions or actions? Are they how I would want it to be? So anyways, this exercise not only helps assess your current self-awareness, but also allows you to notice when you're falling into negative self-conscious patterns. The next way you can do this is request feedback from, again, underline trusted friends or colleagues, not people who have agendas or are trying to manipulate you, right? So you have to make sure you request the feedback from the trusted friends or colleagues. So sometimes others can see things about us that we might be blind to. In other words, our blind spots. So constructive feedback from trusted people in our lives can help illuminate areas where we might lack awareness. An example, questions you can ask someone close to you. How do you perceive my responses to stressful situations? Or are there any behaviors you notice in me that I might be unaware of? So when receiving feedback, also it's important to remain open and avoid defensiveness. The goal here is to really get the feedback and not to interrupt it, and then to take it and process it in as objective a manner as possible. So you can really see what you need to keep and what you might need to discard. So anyway, so just understanding that their observations can help you grow. And a third way is for our exercise to develop self-awareness positively is mindfulness meditation. So mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment. So through mindfulness, you can become more attuned to your internal states, observing your thoughts, observing your emotions as they arise without immediately reacting to them. How am I feeling now? What are the thoughts that are going on there? Right? And then just stepping back, create that space between you and those thoughts and that emotion. So you're more like of an observer. You can step back and take a look. So practically you start by dedicating 10 minutes a day to mindfulness meditation, where you sit quietly and you focus on your breath and simply observe any thoughts or feelings that arise. Over time, this practice helps you notice your automatic reactions, and it'll help you notice your automatic impulses, giving you space to choose your responses consciously and more likely wisely. Another strategy is body scanning. So, body scanning is a mindfulness technique that helps you become aware of physical sensations in your body, which are often linked to emotions. So, this exercise grounds you in the present moment and deepens your connection between mind and body. So practical use is to lie down or sit comfortably and then close your eyes and focus on each part of your body, starting from your toes and then working your way up to your head. So notice any areas of tension or discomfort without judgment. And this practice fosters a deeper awareness of how stress or emotions manifest physically, helping you manage them more effectively. And also, it's important to practice self compassion. Because one of the key ways to avoid negative self consciousness while developing self awareness is through self compassion. So acknowledge that everyone has flaws, we all do. Learning from them is part of the growing process, is part of the growth. So self compassion helps you avoid the trap of harsh self criticism. So when you notice a mistake or a flaw, speak to yourself the way you would speak to a close friend. Instead of saying, I'm such a failure, try saying, I am human and that I am learning. And maybe what can I do better next time? You can wonder about what you can do better next time instead of calling yourself a failure or beating yourself up or down, right? It's easy to become overly self-critical when we become more aware of our flaws. So to prevent this, focus on growth rather than perfection. Remember that self-awareness is about understanding, it's not about judgment. So focus on progress and not perfection. Instead of being obsessed with never making mistakes, focus on the progress you've made and on the growth mentality. And also set realistic expectations. Don't expect to be aware of everything all the time. It is a journey, just like most any things, most any skills you're trying to sharpen, you're trying to improve. It is a journey. And even when you think you've arrived, there is more to learn, right? So embrace the journey. So self awareness is a valuable tool for personal growth, but it must be cultivated with care. By practicing mindfulness, seeking feedback, and showing self compassion, you can develop your self awareness in a way that fosters positivity and self growth without falling into the trap of negative self consciousness. So, as always, thank you for tuning into the Resilience Across Borders podcast. If you're enjoying the podcast, please do whatever you can to share it. And if you want to journal, try Emojim Journal. It's available on Amazon, and or you can just follow the blog posts and new episodes as they get added at resilience.com. That is the URL. But you can listen to the podcast on your favorite, whatever podcast listening app you use. So remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others and stay resilient.